In this video, I will demonstrate Excel's key features by creating a simple invoice. The invoice includes an invoice date field, customer field, invoice number, item description, unit price, quantity, amount, and the totals. The customer name is a drop-down field from a list that is coming from the customers table. The item number is also a drop-down field from a list. That list is pulling from the products table. And when I select a new row and select a new item number, the item description and the unit price auto populates. And here I enter a quantity and it calculates the amount. In this tab, I have the product sold log, which has their menu items that they sold within the past 5 years. And this links to the dashboard that displays the top 5 products sold by month, and the highest grossing years. So I copied over some of the data just to make it easier. And under the invoice date, I will enter in a formula. So that way, every time they open the invoice, it'll be the current date. So that formula is the to date formula. So today, TODAY, open and close parentheses. And I'm just going to format it, drag and highlight 2 cells, and then merge them. Customer, I could just leave that blank for now. The invoice number, I can just enter anything right for now, 2, 3. And then for the item number, I copied over the first row. So item number 6006, barbecue ribs, unit price is $10.99. And once we enter a quantity, the amount will be calculated. So for that to be calculated, I'll enter in a formula. I'll do equals the unit price times the quantity. And right now it's at 0. So if I drag the formula down, some error values will show up. In order to fix that, we're going to add a formula. But before I do, I want to show you how I drag the formula. So if I hover on this corner of the cell until that mouse is a thinner plus sign, I can click on it and then drag. So what we'll do, so this value error will go away. I'm going to go to that first cell, and right before, I'll add in the if statement. So if, and then open parentheses, if the quantity is blank, so we'll do equals, and blank we'll do close strings, so that's a quote and another quote, and then comma. So that first one is if age 12, which is our quantity, is blank, then we want to leave blank. In order to do that, we will do two quotes, and that's an empty string. So we'll leave it blank. And then another comma. And then we'll close this off with the closing parentheses and enter. So now it's blank. So I'll do the same trick so the formula could go down, but this time I'll wait for my arrow to be thinner, that cross to be thin, and then double click it. And now that I double clicked it, the formulas are still there, but the errors went away. I will now do some formatting. So I'm just going to grab the company's name, grab a couple of columns, and just merge. So on the home tab, you can just merge cells. So now the cells are merged. And then what I'll do, I want this like showing like in the middle. So I'll select the alignment section and select the middle. We hover over this is the middle alignment. I'll do the same thing but just for one row for the address and phone number. So merge and merge again. That we can just align with everything else. So earlier I merged the date field. I'll do the title for that. Merge onto 2 cells. And for the customer name, I'll do 3, just in case the customer name is a bit long. An invoice number. Okay. Item number, unit price, quantity, and amount were all in one column. For item description, because it can be long, I'm just going to merge it. I'll merge it 5 columns. And now I would like to remove the grid lines. So I'm going to click on the View tab and then untick the grid lines. And now it went away. And then I'm going to format these fields. So in order for the gray line to appear, I'll select the line color, and I chose the third gray option, the white background 1, darker 25%. And I already had the invoice date highlighted. I won't click on anything else. I'll just click on the borders and make sure it's on the all borders and then click. So now that has a border around it. So we'll do the same with the customer name and invoice number. So for this, we'll do, I believe it ended, our formula ended in right here. So I'll highlight all of them and include the border. So now you can see that it all has the borders. So for the headers, I'm going to align them in the middle, but this one is the center. So we want to center our headers. So the item number could stay the same. What we want to focus on right now is the item description. So I'll use the little handy feature, the Format Painter. Click on the Format Painter and then just click on the cell that you want to mimic. So I want this to be the same, and click it again. And we want to do that all the way down. So I'll just select multiple. So let me select all 3 of these, and now I did 3. So just so we can do it faster, and then that's it. So now we'll do the same for the totals. I'll do a border around it, and I'm going to merge these. And I'm going to align them to the left. So I selected all of them and align left. And this thank you for your business to be in the bottom of the invoice. I'm going to select the whole to be aligned with everything else and then merge it. So now it looks like the original. So now we can go down to the subtotal and enter in the formula. We'll do a sum formula to add up the amount. We'll do equals sum, S-U-M, open parentheses, and select an array. So I'll select everything and close parentheses. We'll come back to the discount since the formula is going to be longer. The discount amount would be the subtotal times the discount. So we'll do equals subtotal times the discount. And total after discount is the subtotal minus the discount amount. So we'll do equals subtotal minus discount amount. And for sales tax, we'll just make up a number. We'll do 8% and then format it to the percent sign. And then the total would be the sales tax plus the total after the discount. So total 2198 times 8% will give us a percent. And then we'll wrap these in parentheses and do plus the total after discount. But if there is no discount, then we'll add in an if formula. So that's if, open parentheses, the discount is blank, so that's double quotes. Then what we want to do is the sales tax times the subtotal. And let's wrap this in parentheses again. And then add the subtotal. And then close the parentheses, close the formula. We just walked over through that. So here I'm saying if the discount is empty, so if there is no discount, then if it's true, then multiply the sales tax by the subtotal. And if there is a discount amount, then multiply the total amount after discount times the sales tax and then plus the total after discount. Now I'll work on the discount formula. First, I'll convert the customer's data into a table. You can go to the Insert tab, click Table, and since I have headers, I'll leave this checked off, and then click OK. I'm going to name this table Customers so it can be easier to find. And then just click Enter. In here, I'll add the customer's name. Let's just do the first one. And then I'll add the match formula so we can work on the discount. So that's equals MATCH, open parentheses, and my lookup value would be the customer name, comma, and then my lookup value would be in the customers tab, the customers table, and the customers column. And that was the lookup array. And then comma, and my match type, I want exact match. And then close parentheses. This formula returned the position in the array. So in this case, it returned the row number from my customers table. So this customer is in row number 1. Right here, row number 1. I will now add the index formula. This formula will return a value of a specified row and column. I already have the row with my match formula, and now I'll use the index formula to get the customer's discount amount from that row. So we'll do INDEX, open parentheses, and the array I want is the customer table, and I'll select the discount column for my array, and then enter a comma. And then my row number is this match formula. And the column is optional, which is why it has these brackets. So I'll leave it blank because I already selected the column I want. So I'll close the formula, the closing parentheses, and then enter. And now I returned the discount amount, which is 5%. And I'll format it to a percent sign. So now I'll be adding an if formula. So in case the customer is blank, let me remove that. There's an error. So now we'll say if the customer is blank, so click on customer equals and then double quotes for blank, then just leave blank, and then comma, and then close the parentheses. And now we still have a value error because the discount amount is blank. So we'll do the same thing. If the discount is blank, then leave blank. If, open parentheses, the discount is blank, double quotes, comma, then leave blank, double quotes, comma, and close parentheses. And then same thing here for the discount. If, open parentheses, the discount equals blank, comma, then leave blank, comma, and close parentheses. So now we'll move on to creating a list. Here, I'll be entering from the data field a list. But first, I'll create that list. I'll go to the customers table and highlight my customer. That way I can name this range. I can highlight, and up here in the name box, I will name it customers list. And enter. And now we will add this to the list. Go to the data tab. Under data tools, click on data validation. In the data validation box, in the allow, select list. In the source, we will enter in customers lists. So equals customers list. The name that we entered earlier from the table. And then click OK. Now we have a drop down and we have all of our customers. So now we will work on the item number. First, let's convert our products into a table. Let's go to products and click anywhere in your data. Go to the insert tab, click table. My data has headers, so I will leave it checked off and click OK. And you can change the style from here. And now I will name the product number. Let me click, highlight the product number, and then name it product list. Enter. And then I'll go back to my sheet and then highlight all the item numbers. Go to the data tab, click data validation, allow list, and the source is our product list. And then click OK. So now we see that we have all our product numbers. And now we have to auto-populate this. We'll do that by entering a formula. First, let's rename our products table. Call it products. And now we can enter in our formula. So we'll do a VLOOKUP equals VLOOKUP, open parentheses. Our lookup value would be our item number, comma, and then our table array is customers. Since we already named it, we can look it up by typing it up. So products, and then we have it right here. It looks like a table and it's under products, comma, our column number would be 2, comma, and then we want the exact match, so I'll select a false and close parentheses. And now I returned the item description. I used the VLOOKUP formula. The lookup value is the item number here, and the table array was the products table. The column index number 2 from the products table, because this is the second column we want to return. And then our range lookup was false because I want an exact match. And now we can drag the formula down. So hover over the corner and then drag the formula. And now we will have errors. In order to fix that, we'll use the if formula. So if the item number is blank, then leave blank. So we'll do if, open parentheses, the item number equals blank, comma, then leave blank. double quotes, and comma, close parentheses. I'll hover over the corner and drag. And now the errors are gone. Now I'll work on the unit price formula. For the unit price, we want to look up in the products table, but this time we'll change the column index to 3. I'm going to copy this because all I'm going to do is change the 2 to a 3. And then delete that and then paste, and I can change the 2 to a 3. And I can drag the formula down. For the amount, I'm going to calculate the unit price by the quantity. And now I'll enter in a quantity, 3, and my amount will calculate. I'm going to come up here and select the customer name, Photobug. And here we can see that Photobug does not have a discount, so the discount was not applied. And we are done with our invoice. So now we can work on the product sold log. I'll convert my log into a table. So I'll click anywhere in the data and convert it into a table. I'll go to the Insert tab, click on Table, and since my data has headers up here, I will leave it checked off and then click OK. And I'm going to format the date. We highlight on the Home tab. On the number field, select the drop down and select short date. And the amount, highlight and then select accounting. And I'll do the same for the unit price, highlight and accounting. So now we can move on to creating a dashboard. So what I'll do is click anywhere on the table, go to Insert and click on Pivot Table. The Select Table Arrange was already selected, was the table 7, and I want the pivot table to be on a new worksheet. And I'll click OK. So from here, I'm going to drag product into my rows and quantity sold into my values. So now I can see the product name and the quantity sold. And I want to filter this by the top 5 products that sold. So in order to do that, I'll click on the filter, hover over the value filter, and click on top 10. From the top 10, I'm going to change the top to top 5. Leave it as items and the quantity sold, and then click OK. And now I can see the top 5 products that sell the most. And I'm going to add a chart for this. I'll go to the Analyze under Pivot Tools. I'll remove the buttons and then click on Pivot Chart. From here, I want to select the 3D clustered column and then click OK. And now I have my chart. I'm just going to format this. I'll click out of the chart for now. Click View, remove the grid lines, and I'll click on the chart again. I'll go to Design and select the design. I'll select the third one. And I want to remove these buttons and the legend. Click on this plus sign. And to remove the legend, just uncheck that. And then for the buttons, go to Analyze and click on Field Buttons. And now I'm going to rename this Top 5 Products Sold. And now I'm going to add another pivot table for products sold by month. So go back to the products sold log, click anywhere in the data, and go to Insert, Pivot Table. And this time, I am not going to add it to the new worksheet. I'll add it to an existing worksheet. And then click on Location, click on the sheet, and add it to the sheet. I'll click 812. Click OK. And now I'm going to drag Date Sold on my rows. Excel automatically groups the years and quarters. So I'm just going to expand this so I can view it. Right click, hover over Expand and Collapse, and select Expand Entire Field. And do the same for quarters. Hover over Expand, Collapse, and select Entire Field. But I do not want the quarters or the years. So I'll remove the quarters and the years. And then I'll bring down the quantity sold down to the values. I'm going to format the numbers by just clicking on the sum of quantity sold, selecting value field settings, And on the number format, I'll select number, check off the 1000 separator for my commas, and the decimal places I want to 0. Click OK. And now it's formatted. And I'm going to add a chart. Under Analyze, I'll select Pivot Chart and select the line with markers and click OK. And for this one, I'll do the same. Go to Analyze and remove the buttons and remove the legend on the plus sign and uncheck the legend. And I'll rename this Products Sold by Month. And then I'll select the design, go to Design tab, and I'll select this one, Style 11. And now I'll go back to the Products Sold log again, insert a pivot table, click anywhere in the data, click Insert, Pivot Table, and these table 7 was selected, and I want to end the existing worksheet. Click Location, go back to my sheet, and insert right underneath it, and click OK. And now I'll drag in the years to the rows, and I'll drag the amount down to the values. And I'm going to format this. Go to number format and select accounting. And I'll have the symbol sign and 2 decimal places. Click OK, OK. And now it's formatted. And I'm going to add a chart for this one as well. Click Pivot Chart, and I'll select the pie and the 3D pie, and click OK. And for this chart, I want to see the top 3. So I'll filter, go to Value Filters, top 10, and replace the 10 with the 3. So now I have the top 3 items. Click OK. And I'll format this as well. I'll remove the buttons, go to Analyze tab, click Field Buttons, and I want the labels inside. So I'll click this plus sign and check off the data labels, and now I have the data labels inside. And then I'll rename this to highest grossing years. And that's it.